We would just ask audience members to be aware that they may find some of the content discussed distressing, and we would also recommend that any children are taken to another room during this section. She asked me to pass on her apologies that she is reading from a screen today. Will you please welcome Dr. N?
Thank you very much, and thank you, Force Value Feminists, for having me back again. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm sorry, but you are about to learn why I'm never allowed access to a projector. In all honesty, this isn't really a topic you can joke about, and it isn't a topic where I can use polite language, so content warning, and I'm going to be swearing. Let's begin. Tally-ho. Tanya, the former porn performer known as Jersey Jackson, who specialised in teen and barely legal categories, well, she's described her workday as a performer. She said, "It's guys punching you in the face. You have semen from many men all over you. It's in your eyes. You get ripped. Your insides can come out of you. It's never ending. You're viewed as an object and not as a human with a spirit." Similarly, the ex-Tip performer Reagan Starr has spoken of how, "I just got the shit kicked out of me. I was told before the video, and they said this very proudly, that in this line, most of the girls start crying because it starts hurting so bad. I couldn't breathe. I was being hit and choked. I was really upset. And they didn't stop. They kept filming. You can hear me say in the video, turn the fucking camera off. But they just kept going." And these two women, they haven't been unlucky. The violence and degradation is part of the point of porn. And porn happens to real women and girls. It is not fantasy for them. Alexia Milano, she detailed how, in her first movie, "I was treated very rough by 3 guys. They pounded on me, gagged me with their penises, and tossed me around like I was a ball. I was hurting and I could barely walk afterwards." The 20-year-old current porn performer, Michelle, she's recounted the day she met her then fiancé on a porn set. "It began charmingly, but when they started filming, the tone changed. And without any prompting, Vidal got really rough with her during the sex, slapping her face violently from side to side and choking her with his hands. Afterwards, she looked shaken, and her face was reddened and her eyes were watery. She insisted, "I'm okay. I know I look torn up. Can you tell?" Laughing and wiping her eye. She turned away and said without any conviction, "I took a beating today, and it was great." Michelle highlights one way violence against women and girls operates in porn. Women are heard and seen having a positive, often orgasmic, reaction to being slapped and choked, their orifice stretched by double, sometimes triple penetration. And for those unaware of what that is, it is multiple penises, same orifice, same time, and punches from fists in the face. This normalizes the idea that women want to be hurt and that we get off on male abuse. Well, erections aren't magical, lads. They don't turn pain into pleasure. The other way violence works in porn is that it is the explicit point of it. So split screens are frequently used in panel. One screen shows the penis pounding the woman's anus, while the other shows the woman just in tears, agony, and screaming. A quick search of pain on Pornhub delivers in under a second. "Oh my God, that's the wrong hole, it hurts. Accidental anal with cream pie. 23.4 million views. Unprepared raw anal. MILF can't handle the pain, but he kept going. 9.4 million views. OnlyFans leak. Latina gets roughed up, slapped, spit on, fucked until she screams. 3 million views. Messy, sloppy deep throat destroyed my face. That has 2 million views. The Pornhub thumbnail advertising this film is an image of a teenage girl in a school tie with mascara and makeup smeared over her face from crying. Her own vomit is mixed in as she was repeatedly sick as she was being choked. You get the idea, and I don't think I need to press this point any further. Pornhub, to use Layla Mickelwait's apt description, is a crime scene. But within a year of the campaign, the Mickelwait launch, which is called Trafficking Hub, if you want to look it up, Pornhub had to delete 80% of its content, and that totaled 10 million videos. because it contained child sexual abuse videos or other illegal content. It lost all processing from MasterCard, Visa, Discover and PayPal, and it had to upend its business model, and is now a global pariah, facing 7 major lawsuits and under investigation by multiple governments for child sexual abuse, sex trafficking and other activity. So that is a major win, and it shows what one feminist is. But even women who enter porn supposedly freely, although abuse backgrounds, poverty and a culture of sexual objectification do complicate this choice. They're coerced into doing sex acts that they have explicitly stated they're unwilling to do, and this is rape. If women don't go through with the producer's demands, then no one will get paid. Those 3 to 22 hours of filming, grueling degradation she just endured, she's not going to get paid. What would you choose? So that is porn, and we live in the porn era. Statista compiled data which showed that Pornhub had a total number of monthly visits of just under 2.3 billion. If videos and images have no impact on behaviour, why is the global advertising industry in 2022 calculated to be worth $808 billion US? In terms of global trends, the transgender category grew by up to 75%. To become the 7th most popular category worldwide. And we can see that as this porn grows in consumption, legislation is ripping through Parliament and women's rights worldwide. A 2019 survey of 10,000 Brits showed that 38% of men say that they watch porn every day, while 74% of men watch porn at least 4 times a week. Ofcom did a survey in 2020 which suggested that half of all UK adults watch porn. Note the sex-neutral language. The consumption of this violent material is presented. It's not women who are wholesale getting off on this. Now, for Scotland's porn habits. Pornhub is super proud of its data and market share, and it has allowed me a closer look. So Pornhub obscures the fact that we are talking about men and male sexual consumption by calling them visitors, like Johns are called clients. But lesbian was the most viewed category of videos on Pornhub accessed by men in Scotland. Pornhub data has revealed that Glaswegians, they love to watch porn at work. Men from Stirling like to view pissing porn, and those in Edinburgh are more likely to watch interracial clips. A note to any men, watching porn at work does constitute sexual harassment if a female staff member witnesses. And also, how male is that? I have never met a woman who goes into work and just starts wanking. Still, Pornhub data shows that Scottish men are 41% likely to watch fetish videos. So even more extreme violence against women and girls. Beatings, drawing blood, metal hooks up the arse, that kind of thing. And 42% more likely to watch bondage compared to the rest of the UK. So if you can do that to a woman, you're probably going to have to tie her up. Patriotically, searches for kilt are 892% more popular in Scotland. Pornhub tells us that on average, men from Stirling will spend 8 seconds less than men from Aberdeen viewing material on each visit. I had a very deep dive in this. Visitors, aka those men again, from North East Scotland are 171% more likely to search shav. The North West, well, they're 73% more into chubby porn, and lower down the country, they have a 77% bigger taste for big, beautiful women. Stats from the web giant in 2022, well, they reveal pegging is actually much more popular in Scotland than it is in the rest of the UK. But, I mean, this is absolutely unsurprising. In March 2022, it was reported that a record number of Scots were seeking help for an escalating porn addiction. Yet, Hannah Wilton, speaking on the BBC, wanted men to know she's a cool girl, and not like those nasty feminists, because she stated that she thinks there's still a way to go in removing the stigma of watching porn for everyone, whether single or in a relationship, and porn was about introspection of one's sexuality. If I wasn't wearing my glasses, you would be able to see just how hard I'm rolling my eyes. You can probably hear it at the back of the room. But, porn is not. It is destigmatized. It is presented as a legitimate form of male entertainment, and that isn't new, because Series 4 of Friends, which was about 1998, had the episode, the one with the porn. The High Street used to sell Playboy bunny-branded tops to teen girls, and Marks and Spencer stocked a porn star martini, until challenged by Object. And Summers, they partnered with Pornhub, until I pointed out the errors in their thinking. Porn is just... And Hannah can jog on if she thinks it's about introspection. It is about domination and control. And it is in our institutions, it is in our policing, government, homes, and schools. So Inspector spoke to more than 900 children and were told that boys are sharing nudes, like a collection game, like their basketball cards, on platforms such as WhatsApp, Snapchat, and girls are touched up so regularly in crowded school corridors that they don't even bother to report it anymore. The website Everyone's Invited has been like the Me Too movement for schoolgirls. In 2021, more than 120 schools across Scotland had been named in connection with allegations of sexual assault and sexual harassment. In fact, 17 primary schools in Scotland were identified. And I wonder if this correlates to the average age of first viewing porn being 9 years old. Although new research by the British Board of Film Classification has argued it could be as young as 7. It is accidental at this age, and it is one click away, or it is a friend showing you something on their internet-connected smartphones. 71% of visits to Pornhub from Scotland are from smartphones. MPs have known about this problem. Scottish children's access to harmful material. For at least 16 years, Dr. Ray Wire presented research to a committee of MSPs on this topic in 2007 and argued for legislative action. I don't think the legislative action he wanted was for MSPs to remove all girls' safe spaces, particularly when they are vulnerable, and to tell our girls that men and boys get to define them. We repeatedly see British police officers facing sanction for sharing porn, rape jokes on WhatsApp. And it came as no surprise to feminists that Wayne Couzens, who raped and abducted and murdered Sarah Everard, was a porn addict. In mid-January, Met Police Officer David Carrick admitted to 49 offences, including rape, and told colleagues and victims how he was a dominant and got off on humiliating them. I mean, he liked to urinate on women after he had raped them, and that's from porn. Carrick isn't trans-identified. Well, yeah, many men discover their trans identity in prison on sex offences, don't they? Over 1,000 police officers and staff in just the Met are under investigation. And at a meeting last November of the Scottish Police Authority, it was revealed that 410 sexual allegations were recorded against their officers between January 2017 and October 2021. If crimes against women, particularly sexual crimes, do make it to court, how many members of the jury are masturbating to the idea that all women want it rough, even if they say no? Politicians and candidates are similarly awash with porn. Up in one end of the country, we had Paul Wright, an SNP candidate, to contest the Brecon and Edsall ward, admitted posting extreme pornography on Twitter because he wanted to win an argument. Representing a Devon constituency at almost the other end of the country, the Conservative MP Neil Parish, he was found watching porn on his phone in the Commons chamber. He admitted to twice accessing it, but one time he claimed he was looking for tractors. It is across all parties, that's the point I'm making, and it is from Scotland to Devon, this consumption of sexual violence against women. 2018 data shows over 24,000 attempts to access porn sites from parliamentary computers, and I'm sorry, but that's not all Neil Parish and his tractors. And, Holyrood, well, they haven't been forthcoming on their data. But I do wonder how they can pass laws that view women as equal while they're consuming this material. And is this how the batshit laws that define women as holes and fetish fodder have passed through parliaments with such ease? Indeed, I think transgenderism is the root of pornography. Pornography is the root of transgenderism. I really struggle reading on a screen. In 1981, Andrea Dworkin published her work, Pornography, with the subheading, Men Possessing Women. I really agree with her thesis that pornography is the war upon women and it is based on control, domination, and ownership. And I can think of nothing more possessive than wearing a woman's skin, taking her rights, her language, and her ability to define herself. Tanya, her comments who opened this talk, they really do strike me as how transgenderism defines women. It makes sense. These adult men aren't born in the wrong body, they are porn addicts, and they treat you like an object without spirit. In the list of 5 sissy girl essentials, number 1 outlines how a girl is a whore, slut, and a cum-guzzling bitch. A woman, according to trans-identified men, is a submissive, horny slut. She likes to be dominated, used as a vessel for pleasure, and fucked until her arse pussy is gaping and wet. She is submissive. Now, if your rage is not at boiling point yet, well, it does continue. Her hole is well trained for cock, because a woman is a shameless and filthy cum receptacle. A man calling himself Slut Chloe on Reddit in girls' school about being a girl because he had been fucked by a man and how he just wanted to take it all like a good girl does. Another man claimed that since he had identified as a girl, he was now excited and nervous to be a slut and wanted to taste cock for the first time and just experience pleasing a cock with my mouth and my arse, and that he couldn't wait to swallow a load of cum. There are over 34,000 members of this Reddit community. On Thought Catalogue, a trans-identified man writes about becoming a girl thus: it's because you love cum, you want to be a girl. It makes you a sissy bimbo cum slut. I have a different definition. The conceptualization of women as submissive holes for dick is so common now that it even features on Wikipedia. A guide for men to be girls describes the practice of dressing submissive. Arthur Longshoe has finally admitted that feminists were right. Thank you, Arthur. I'm always right. He said, "Did sissy porn make me trans?" Well, sissy porn is a radical feminist's worst nightmare. The men pretending to be women in these images are then represented to have been feminized through being forced to sexually submit to cock and are expected to open their holes in worshipful surrender. Surrendering holes. That's what these porn-riddled perverts define us as. Think of the term front hole, which transgenderism uses to describe female genitals. This is found in school teaching materials, guidance for health professionals. Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust recommends to use the term front hole, but if a woman doesn't like it, well, you can always call it a bonus hole, according to the Cancer Trust. Trans widows, the women who were intimate with these men, all described their husbands' escalating porn addiction as a key component in their journey to womanhood. Internet forums were awash with them, talking to each other about all the porn they're using. Women know that criticism of transgenderism on platforms such as Twitter will lead to a deluge of angry anime profiles coming for you. Although they claim the anime is art, they're indulging in it as a porn category. We can see the pornification in the insults feminists receive for daring to speak or attend events. We are frequently told to choke on a dick. I was sent a photo of a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire and told that I should be raped to death with it. It's in the books that they're promoting to your school kids. The book Wonderland, marketed for age 12 plus and written by trans-identified male Juno Dawson, who is invited into school alongside Peter Thatcher, so it's always going to go well, isn't it? It's set in St. Agnes, an all-girls boarding school, where the students are presented as riddled with STIs. Alice, Dawson's trans-identified teenage protagonist, tells its child audience to let them use your body and get fucked both ends like a little piggy, and describes himself as a fucking cum slut, a worthless tranny whore. That's for 12-year-olds. One of the men we saw celebrating in the Scottish Parliament and applauded, he's on a sex work site called adultwork.com. and he's happy to oblige by dressing as a schoolgirl. The trans hashtag, Girls Like Us, is full of adult men acting out pornified versions of girlhood, often including the sexualization of school uniforms. So when we look at transgenderism, the men, they're porn-riddled perverts, I'm happy to say that. But our girls are trying to escape porn culture. It is no wonder we are seeing a huge increase in girls identifying as boys. Because who wouldn't want to identify out of the sexual harassment, being conceptualized as a submissive whole? Trans, for girls, is the wrong answer to a very real problem. Thank you.